Good morning, y'all. My name is John Crew, and I want to thank you for joining me for today's deep dive thought. And the thought I'm having today is how absolutely beautiful today's weather is, right? As you can see, blue skies behind me. I mean, this ain't no green screen. This is amazing, right? The weather's great. The air's crisp. Feels good, you know? Don't you wish you could have every day like this? Man, that would be amazing. But the reality is every day isn't like this. The reality is that there are some cloudy days. There are some hot days where it's just, it's unbearable. There are some really cold days, right? There are days where we got to lock it down because the storm that's coming may potentially knock some things down, damage some things. And just like any storm that passes, like in Florida, we know all about hurricanes. So, when we prepare, get supplies and all these different things, it gets a little chaotic. And we live in a world where there's a lot of chaos. And so once the storm passes, the hurricane passes, we survived, right? We survived and we make it out. What's funny is the more that you experience some of these storms, the more that you have these reports that come through, false calls, different things, you learn to function and adapt in some of this different chaos, right? There's all kinds of chaos. There's chaos that we learn from, and there's some chaos that's there's, it feels like there's no end in sight, right? But on days like this, man, it's so beautiful outside. There's nothing chaotic about this. It feels beautiful, despite some of the chaos in our world that still exists, right? Our world personally and abroad, unfortunately, right, in the world. But there are days like this that just remind you that behind the clouds, behind the storm, after the storm is past, the goal is to return back to some sense of normalcy, right? The goal is to rebuild the same or at least better than it was before if things got knocked down. And I want you to be encouraged. I want you to know that pain is temporary. I want you to know that you can push through and you can make it through. You can achieve the goals, even when things are just, when you're in the midst and you're in the dark, man, there's no flashlight, there's no candle, right? There's no guide, maybe nobody that you connect with, nobody to hold your hand and walk you through the situation that you're dealing with. You have days like this on the other side. You have to trust in the process, right? Process is more organized. Chaos is all over the place and it's just confusing, right? But we want to rebuild. We want to rebuild. And we want to know that on the other side of those clouds, there's days like this that look amazing. Yesterday, you could have been ready to give up and quit something. But there's days like this that come tomorrow. And you don't know when those days are going to come. Even sometimes the weatherman's wrong, right? They predict things and it's just not quite what you thought it was going to be. We have rainy days, and it's just, you can't really do much. We're kind of limited on some things. But I was an athlete growing up, right? And, I would always train in different types of conditions so that my body would be prepared to function optimally in those conditions no matter what, right? And a lot of athletes know this. A lot of soldiers know this, and they go to other extreme levels of training your body and your mind, right? And the biggest thing you learn as you get older and, how everything translates. I always say everything is relative. That mindset aside from just like everything starts in the mind. You have confusion. Sometimes we overthink things and we create our own chaos sometimes aside from the external factors that affect us. But through those storms, there are clear blue skies, right? In our own personal lives, we can do a decent amount to have more days just like this. But understand and accept the fact that there will be days where it's a little chaotic. We have to learn to function through some of that chaos and have faith and trust that there are days like this. And after the storm passes, we still have to return back to normalcy. The problem is when you function in chaos, you live in chaos, and you think in chaos, and you stay in chaos. And even on a blue sky day like this, you don't even know how to appreciate it anymore. That's a terrible place to be. So I want to encourage you all to have beautiful days like this, outside and inside, right? Mind, body, and soul. Y'all take care of yourselves and enjoy your day wherever you're at. If you don't have a blue sky wherever you're at, I'm sorry, not sorry. Where I'm at, it's a beautiful day. I'm accept it and embrace it, right? So embrace your beautiful days when you get them, and train and push through and learn to thrive in the conditions that you're in, because understand that those bad conditions, they're temporary. They will pass, and you're gonna have better days. Thanks for joining. Y'all tune in, like and subscribe. Holla.